Hi everyone, 大家好, this is Wei. Today I'm gonna do a video talking about the latest update in the Pixel Heroes global server, mainly about the latest crossover with Trails in the Sky. So if you look to the left on my screen, you will find the announcements page in the official server for Pixel Heroes Global. So they have officially released an announcement saying that the Trails in the Sky crossover is coming in the next patch, which is in about couple of hours. So yeah, if you guys are interested, just go ahead inside and read through. I'm sure they've also released a game notice, so you can find it over there. Okay, so before I start on this video, I want to first note that this crossover has been done on JP already. Thus, some players were a little disappointed because Global is not getting any fresh content. So albeit reused, we now have all the relevant information which will now help players to make informed decisions, and that is what I aim to do in this video for you guys. Okay? However, I have not played with these characters or fought against them because I play on the Chinese server and we do not have any crossovers at all. So what I'm doing, I am just merely giving my thoughts based on reading their skill description. So yeah, don't take me too seriously. Okay? So first, let's start with the 3 new collaboration units. On the left of my screen, you'll find that I'm inside the Japanese server. So I can see all the other units over here. And yeah, so these skill descriptions, okay, hold on, let me change page. Okay, no. So I have the skill descriptions over here, and let me first say that these skill descriptions are not done by me. So if you just head over to the general chat in the global Discord, just go to the pins over here and you can scroll down and find this video posted by C. So in this video you can find all the relevant skill information of these units. So I've just copy pasted the skills I found here into my document to make it easier for reading. So if you're interested, just go ahead to that video and check it out. Okay, so yeah, let me just close this thing and we can view it easier now. So let's talk about the first unit, which is Dark Fang Joshua over here. So as you can see, he has this stem over here, which I believe is I don't know, collaboration limited. I am not too sure. So anyway, he is from the Assault faction and he is a dark unit. So I'm not too sure how collaboration units work. I don't know if you can still obtain their copies after the collaboration is over. So you would have to find, I would have to find a player in JP to ask on this. Okay, I'll update you guys if I know. Okay, so let's go through his skill description. So for his skill 1, basically he does a 2 combo attack and he targets the enemy with the highest attack. So he deals single target damage, and this attack has 2 individual chances to apply a debuff, either slow, poison, plague, or bleeding. His skill also has an inherent crit rate bonus of 30%. So yeah, that's good because if his skill crits, then he can launch an additional follow-up attack only if the skill crits. So having crit rate is really essential on him. So just read over here, if this attack results in a critical hit, an additional Extreme Absolute Shadow will be released on the target. So Extreme Absolute Shadow will inflict 150% physical damage to the target with 80% chance to add a stack of plague. So yeah, that's quite nice. So his single target multiplier is actually really good because if you look at level 10, if you combine 396% and the 150%, that is much higher than other single target units. So you know, just compare over here with our Qingluan. Where is she? So Qingluan at level 3 deals 417%, but compared to Joshua, he deals 396% plus 150% assuming he crits, which is highly likely. So yeah, that's quite nice. Okay, so now let's look at skill 2. So for skill 2, every time before he launches his skill 1, so before he launches his skill 1, he will steal the enemy's attack. So by stealing the enemy's attack is lowered and he will then gain the attack that he has stolen. So this happens every time before he casts his skill. So this will lead to an even bigger increase in damage for his skill 1. So yeah, that's quite nice, you know. Okay, so for skill 3, is the basic stat buff, and he also gets a crit rate bonus, so 10% at level 2 and 3% at level 3. So yeah, that's another way he can crit, so that's very nice. Okay, so for skill 4, basically he will gain a crit rate and attack bonus at the start of the battle, which will decrease by 3% after the end of every turn. So let's assume that he's currently at level 2, so he has a 12% crit rate and 12% attack buff at the start of the match. So at the end of every round, it will decrease by 3%. So this, you can assume that this buff will last for 4 turns, where you can get the full 12% in the first turn and only 3% on the 4th turn. On the 5th turn onwards, he will not have any of this buff anymore. So if you just think about his whole kit, who does he remind you of?
So now, guess who's jealous of Adele? Beyonce.
Yeah, who does he remind you of? Okay, yeah, Adele, you know. Okay, next. Okay, so for our next unit, we have Dazzling Sun Estelle over here. So this is her. She is a tank, and she is a light unit. So for skill 1, she will deal AoE damage to the entire enemy team with chance to apply burning and taunt. So taunt is a very good CC, and she can apply it to 2 random enemies at 80% chance at level 3. So that's actually not bad. So yeah, that's quite cool. So for her skill 2, basically whenever she gets attacked, she has a chance to gain this diamond bodyguard buff, which increases her damage reduction by 4% and damage buff by 2%. She can also recover her HP every time she gets attacked. So this can stack up to 6 times. So 6 times 24, she can get a 24% damage reduction buff. So that's actually really good. Also, whenever she gets attacked, she also has a chance to launch a counter attack called Tornado Stick, which will inflict 50% physical damage to all enemies. So just from reading her skill 1 and skill 2, I believe she has really high damage potential even for a tank, because this Tornado Stick is actually quite a lot, because if you think about it, it amounts, you know, it accumulates, and the damage is actually not bad. So yeah, that's actually really nice. So for skill 3, the basic stat buff, and she gets damage resistance boost. So yeah, that's good. For her skill 4, I think it's quite useless, okay, personally, but okay. Basically for her skill 4, she buffs the entire team. She buffs the entire team's attack and defense for the first 2 rounds. So it depends on the level of her skill. She will boost it by 20% at max level for 2 turns only. So from the 3rd turn onwards, everyone will lose this buff. So it's not really that effective, I would say, but it's still cool. So, you know, judging from her skill 1, who does she remind you of again? Yeah, but I think she's better. So, okay, that's good. Okay, so last one. We have the Angel of Annihilation, Ling. So let me find her. She's over here. So she is from the Mage faction, and she is a blue unit. So her skill 1, basically she attacks the enemies in the back row, and she has a chance to inflict bleeding and the resurrection ban. So at max level, she also deals extra 20% damage if the target is suffering from a nightmare debuff, which Ling can apply. So I will go through the nightmare debuff in skill 4. So oops, okay, so for her skill 2, basically whenever an ally or anyone on the opponent team gets a control effect, which are purple effects, she'll gain 1 stack of dark matter, and when an ally hero dies, she will gain 3 stacks of dark matter. So yeah, every time she gains dark matter, she can increase her attack and crit rate by 1%, and when she's stacked up to 10 times, she can unleash this Death Blast Cannon, which just deals 180% damage to all enemies. But just take note that this Death Burst Cannon can only happen once a turn. So if it didn't have a limit to one, wait, I'm so sorry, not once a turn, once a match, okay? Once in a whole match. So it would actually be better if they didn't limit it at all. She would actually be a very decent unit if they didn't limit this. But because they limited this to only one a match, she fell off so badly. Really, this is so sad, you know? Okay, yeah, that's it. So for a skill 3, basic stat buff and increased damage. So yeah, that's nice. And for a skill 4, basically her normal attacks and her skills have chance of adding a stack of the nightmare debuff to the target. And basically this nightmare will decrease the heal gain by the carrier by 30%. And if the carrier is healed by an ally or attacked by a ling, they will gain another stack of nightmare. So when 5 stacks of the nightmare is accumulated, all the stacks are removed and 100% of physical damage is dealt to the carrier and a stack of bleeding is applied. So nightmare cannot be cleansed, so I'm assuming that even when all 5 stacks are removed, the nightmare debuff should still be present on the enemy. I think based on the skill description, because it's a bit vague, but you guys will know once she's here. Okay, so that is it with the skill descriptions. Now let me go over their builds, okay? So let's head over here, and we don't need the JP screen anymore. So I'm going to add in my CN account. Let me move it to the right side because it's easier. Oops, hold on, where did it go? So sorry you guys. Add another window. Okay, so please cooperate, please. Okay, I swear to God, something's wrong. Will it work? Okay, it's working. Okay, so I'm just gonna like start some matches for you guys to watch while I explain, okay? So first, let's talk about Joshua. So for his best skills to use on the emblems and patterns, we have these 7 skills, very standard because he's a DPS. So we have D7, Force, Physical Combo, Berserk, Anger, Will, Piercing, and Strike. So what I would recommend is these 6 skills. Okay, these 6. You can either use Strike or Piercing depending on what you like. So Berserk is a really important skill for Joshua because he needs to crit to trigger the follow-up attack. So this is really important together with Force and Physical Combo. So Anger and Will goes together, and Strike is good because you can capitalize on his skill 4, which to allow him to deal even more damage at the start of the match. So yeah. Okay, so his best gear set is obviously the offensive set 4-piece. Nothing to explain. So for the recommended magic devices, it gets a bit complicated because I understand that everyone is using Astro Orb on Xingluan and the Wheel of Time on Guna. So that's understandable. Don't need to make any changes. So if you have this red cross thing at 3 stars, then you can use it on him because it provides a 10% damage boost. If you don't have it, however, then I would actually recommend using any of these 3 yellow magic devices because they provide damage buff effects. So yeah, I personally would recommend Shadowstone because it boosts damage at the start of the round, at the start of the match. Is it? Okay, whatever. Basically, this just helps him with his skill 4 to deal even more burst damage at the start. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. So my thoughts on him. Okay, let me go through the best TPS teammates. So going through his kit, obviously he applies a lot of debuffs, especially plague debuffs. So he fits really well in the plague damage over time team comp, which revolves around Theresa and the vampire girl. So yeah, so I would think they work really well together. But Joshua as a standalone DPS also is quite good. So yeah, that's quite nice. Okay, my thoughts on him. Adele,
Divorce, babe. Divorce.
Who?
Divorce, babe. Divorce. Divorce, babe.
Who are you doing?
Divorce, babe.
I don't know who that is.
It's Adele in her Instagram live.
Okay, so his damage is actually on a really similar level to Adele. So if you guys want a reference, just assume that he's on Adele's level. So just take a note that Adele is a very sustained damage dealer. Her damage will not fluctuate so much. In contrast to Joshua, Joshua's damage is very high at the start of the match presumably in the first 4 rounds. So after that, his damage will slightly fall off, and that is when he will deal less damage than Adele. But in the first few matches, he will definitely deal more damage than Adele. So just keep in mind that Joshua is a burst unit, while Adele is a very sustained DPS. But I assume that they will have really similar levels of DPS. That's what I would guess. Okay, so here on the best skills, okay, hold on. So now let's talk about Estelle. So for her best skills to use on her emblems and patterns, we have these standard ones. Yeah, very standard for a tank. So what I want to say is physical combo is actually a really good skill to use on Estelle, because it just allows her to deal more damage, and if she can proc the physical combo, and if you are really lucky, then she can apply taunt on 2 more enemies. So she can apply taunt on 4 different enemies if you're lucky, and that's almost half the team, that's 2/3 of the enemy team, which is like, you know, that's very good. You CC half the enemy team. That's amazing. So yeah, physical combo is actually a really good skill on Estelle if you decide to use her. So for her best gear sets, we have the 4-piece defensive. Nothing about that, just use it. So for recommended magic devices, one of these 4 will work, just use one of them. Okay, so for her best teammates, she is a tank, so she fits into generally any team because you need a tank. But she works nicely with Qingluan because I remember that one of Qingluan's skills will deal more damage when the opponent has the burn debuff on them. So Estelle can reliably apply the burn debuff on enemies, so this can help Qingluan deal more damage, you know? Okay, so my thoughts on Estelle. She is better than Thanatos because, you know, taunt tanks, yeah, quite similar. But she has more damage and definitely more defensive buffs, which will allow her to survive longer. One thing that sets her apart from Gil is that she cannot protect, while Gil can protect. It's just that Gil will also die much easily, and Gil doesn't really have much defensive buffs. So yeah, okay, but keep in mind that Bar, which is the cat tank, is coming out soon, I guess, and he's way better than any of these tanks. So just keep that in mind, okay? He's way better. Okay? Okay, so now let's talk about Ling. Honestly, I don't really care about her, but yeah, these are the best skills to use. Just take your pick, okay? I really don't care. Best skill set, use the mix set, because the mix set will work best on her. So for the recommended magic devices, just one of them. Honestly, yeah. Okay, let me just say first. Ling is a early game unit. Her kit is very limited in the sense that her damage is not there because, yeah, it's just not there. She just isn't that great, I believe, and she is an early game unit. So for people who are starting out and you get her, yeah, feel free to use her. She's great, but don't specially use gems to like get more copies of her. You shouldn't do that. She's just there. So yeah, basically use her in early game, but if you're focused on winning, don't use her in late game or mid game. Just stop using her entirely. Okay, so anyway, now I've covered everything from their skill descriptions to their builds. So yeah, yeah, that's it. I'm done. It's quite late. It's 2 a.m. and I've work tomorrow. Okay, I've worked today. I have to wake up at like 8 because my shift is at 11. So yeah, I'm a bit dead. Oh, can I say that? Okay, anyway, I'm done with my video. Thank you guys for watching. I still have to stay up a bit because I want to edit and stuff. I'm gonna post this immediately actually. So yeah. Okay, I don't know why I'm still yapping. So thanks for watching. Bye guys. If you guys have any questions, just leave them in the comments, okay? Bye bye.